This is the pyramid mold, about 15 bucks off Amazon. Clear casting resin from Michaels, about 30 bucks with the 40% coupon. I got a fan set up to help blow the resin, the smell, the fumes. It helps to wear a gas mask for sure, because the fumes are quite strong. I have cups, lots of cups, mixing cups here, and all my metals and stuff set up, but I'll go into that later. Also, the resin comes with a catalyst, and you judge how many drops to put in, and I'll show you that after. But then also I have popsicle sticks as mixing utensils, and I also use like a drum. I'll either use a drum or I have my crystal singing bowl that I use to vibrationally attune like the whole area and like the Orgone myself even while I'm doing this, so that I can be as pure or do things as pure with much purity as possible. So right now I already put like a little bit in the end and the tip there, so I'm waiting for it to dry. It's gonna take probably like an hour, maybe not even an hour, but like about an hour and to dry to the point where I can then take this piece. This is a piece of quartz crystal. You can see it. That's wire wrapped. I'll take the end of it, and then I'll put it in when it's soft enough so that it won't touch the point of the pyramid, but it'll be just shy, like it'll just be right off of the point. So because like if you see in my latest or in my first pyramid, it's right at the edge, or it's right at the top, right at the point. I'm looking to make it a little bit like off of the point there. So yeah, these are examples of the first two pyramids that I've made with the clear resin. And yeah, so here are the metals that I'm going to be working with, as well as the other crystal that I'm working with is called selenite. That's there. And then I have white sand, which I used actually with chalk. I broke up like just children's chalk, like blue chalk, and I made the coloring in there, gave it its color. And then I have here, so here's black steel. I'm gonna use make a layer of that. Oops, so it's the cups. I might make a little thin layer of copper at the top there with the selenite. And there's blue steel. It's really nice. It's a really nice one. I don't have any brass, so I'm gonna have to stick with the steels, and this is aluminum. And yeah, so as long as you have some metals, it doesn't matter which kinds. Like I'm gonna stick to copper. I was supposed to get brass, but unable to now because the weather is crazy out there. It's like we're getting a lot of hail and a lot of dirt. It's really dirty out there, so I'm unable to get brass, but right now, but I probably will be. But I find brass to be really nice, a really nice addition usually to the pyramids or in general. But any metals will do, given what it does. Maybe, I guess, while I'm here, I'll do a little bit of I print it off and I'll just read it off, like a brief history of what orgonite does, what it's meant to do. In the 30s and 40s, Wilhelm Reich was able to detect and measure the existence of etheric energy, which he called orgone. He determined that stacking alternating layers of fiberglass and steel wool, as well as other metal shavings, would actually attract and collect etheric energy of both the life beneficial form and the harmful negative etheric energy. Carol Croft, gifted with a keen sense of discrete energies, realized the significance of this finding and took it a step further by adding a small quartz crystal to the mixture for their ability to efficiently collect, transmute, and emit etheric energy. This addition to the resin metal matrix creates a substance which functions as a self-driven, continuously operating, highly efficient, negative to positive energy transmutation factory. When organized, it is within range of a source of negative energy. It will efficiently and continuously transform it into positive energy as it is being transmitted, which essentially creates positive energy transmitters out of any and all emitters of harmful negative energy, which are totally defenseless against the effect. So that's the basis of Orgonite. You can make these out of just about any shape. Like, I'll show you an example of another mold. I use like this, just a little round, or even martini glasses, I guess, or even these. Like I have this bowl here. You can make domes. Anything will work, really. I just really like that I got this pyramid that came in the mail just the other day, and yeah, so now, like, to protect yourself, definitely having tools like the sound tools, as well as like incense. I have some incense or whatever to help. Sometimes it helps to open your window. It would definitely be more beneficial to have a garage as opposed to be working in a room. But what can you do sometimes? So, but I mean, have a drum to where you go off, like when you're starting to feel, because I find that vibrationally the resin, how strong it is, it can definitely affect you, because it's, if you're very sensitive to smells and just sensitive in general or whatever, but if you're sensitive to smells especially, you'll find that the resin, it can get you, it can really have a not so good effect on you. So sometimes it's good to take a break, sometimes it's good to go in the crystal bowl and just kind of like kind of change vibration, attune yourself as well as your surroundings, and then your Orgonite is going to be charged with that intent and that as well, because really, like, there's nothing negative about this process at all. Alright, so I'll let that dry and then we'll go on to part 2. Okay, so we're back. And you can look in there and you see the crystal is just right inside the mixture there. It's just sticking straight up. Show you after how to pour that, how to pour the rest in the next layer. Now, to have different things, like a bigger space would be the best. Like vibrationally, you want to think vibration, okay, like spaciousness. The surroundings, like your environment, the sounds and stuff, as well as now I have different things to tune it, like this little mini brass bowl can come in handy, but I like my crystal bowl that I have here. I got a little candle in it, so I'm going to do a little demonstration. It's nice to play music while you're making it too. Like, a few recommendations I would have would be Natan Kaur, if you've ever heard of that music, or music with different mantras, that kind of stuff. All stuff that's, I guess, pertaining to the divine femininity and stuff. That's what I like to listen to. Or Xavier Rudd also is nice. And also you have, your drum. Let's see if I can do a little test here. Yeah. So anyways, there's just a couple little tools that you can use, because the resin is pretty strong and can have can get you high, so to speak, or can really affect you. I like the plastic cups. Whenever I'm mixing, I find it easier than using these cups, but I went ahead and just like cut them in half to make it easier for the metals and all that stuff to come out. So, and I'm going to hand him over to Sarah to take the rest, me pouring the rest. I also have incense, so it's a nice touch, because smell it. Very smelly stuff. Come closer to, just like zoom right, go right into the pyramid. Make some space here. Again. I don't know if you can.
Okay, I'll just move closer.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, that should be good. Alright, so now you see when I place this ring on top, I want to level it. I want to try to get it pretty, pretty level, pretty horizontal. So it's pretty horizontal there. So I want to aim to have enough resin to be a little bit over the top. So like right, just a little bit over the top, or right about there. And so what I do then, oh, there we go. Okay, so, let's see if I can, a little bit over the top, just like right over there, right over the top. And I'm going to pour some resin.
You've already poured a little bit of resin in the bottom, right?
Yeah.
To hold up the stone?
Yeah, I spoke about that. So now I'm going to pour the resin. You'll just show them the cup. So I have the popsicle stick, and now I'm going to take the resin.
So, did you show them what kind you use?
Yeah, from Michael's. They're expensive, but if you can make 3 pyramids, and if you're looking to sell them, and if it's like 40, 50, 60 bucks per pyramid, then you're making quite a good return on your investment. So now I'll pour just what I think I might need. And even if you get it wrong, you can always go back and try again. But say like I think I need that much. You see that? So now, judging by that amount, I feel like it needs about 10 to 15 drops. Like you can play like adding extra hardener, like the catalyst, because you need to add the catalyst with the resin itself so that it hardens. So I'll add 15 drops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then you just mix it up pretty good. And I mean, again, like if you want to keep it away from you, it smells really, really bad, or have a window open when you can. In the winter right now, it's kind of tough to really.
Even a paper mask would be useful.
Yeah, something to protect you. So now I'm going to pour it, because now I have the ring inside, and you want to get close up. And I'll pour it. But actually, before I pour it, I forgot to add some gold flakes. Now that's another thing that you can add if you want, which is a nice little touch. And I'm just going to take like a pinch of it. You want to look inside the gold flakes. You can get these at Michael's again.
In sheets, so you crumple them up.
Yeah. So I'll throw some gold flakes in there, like a pinch of gold flakes, in with the mixture of resin and hardener. And I'll mix that together. And make sure it's all mixed, all good. And then I'll just scrape along inside the sides too, to make sure I got everything. Now you can look into the pyramid. And I'm just going to dump it right in there. And now I pretty much got it perfect. It just covers right over the ring. Just covers right over the ring. I'll scrape inside there and make sure I got everything, just because this stuff is pretty expensive, so you want to make sure that you're using most of it, if not all. Lots of gold flakes in there, so this one's going to be somewhat transparent, but you're going to be able to see it's gold in there. Now, after you've done that, you just wait an hour for it to dry, and then before adding any other layers. That way it'll create, like, if you want to look on the other pyramid that I made, if you want to look at the other pyramid on top of the table here, I don't know if you can zoom in, or I'll take it. You know, it'll create that layer where it's just right here, where it's mostly clear with gold flakes, if you let it harden before adding other layers like the sand or I'll probably add selenite in copper pieces. My first layer with white sand, and then before I do, I have like blue pigment, so I'm going to do like a blue layer before I add the metals and stuff.
Blue chalk and crushes it up.
Yeah, blue chalk is nice. It's really cheap, so
Mixes it with the resin. It works really nicely.
So, anyways, that's the end of part 2. Okay. Yeah.
Battery's slow.
It's okay. Now on to part 3. I'm going to add selenite. Layer selenite. You can look inside there and see that I added a little Triskelion and little copper bits all around in there. So that's going to be the tip of the pyramid. Now on to the layers. So I'll show you how you pour them, or how much you pour. Like just for like a little layer. Usually, like, you know, I'm going to put, I don't know, I'm going to look for like a pretty thin layer, maybe like an 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, like, to make a layer of selenite. So, like, I don't really need that much selenite, so I'm just going to put a few, I don't know, like, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. I know it's funny I'm talking in terms of tablespoons, but I don't know how else to say it. Of like selenite, and then you're going to add your resin to it. Now you're just going to add, you can't really make any mistakes, but you're just going to add like whatever you feel like adding, just not too much. You add and then you mix it up. You want the texture to be something where it's like, it's not like too liquidy, but it's like just rough. Because the rougher it is, the more easier it's going to adhere and solidify quicker. That's the same goes with the metals, like, but we'll get onto that after. So, I'm going to try this layer because this seems to be pretty good. This, if you want to zoom a bit. And just drop it all in there. Layer of selenite, and you know, like, I may want to, because I want to create it a little bit white, I may want to put some white sand in there too. So I'm probably going to sprinkle some white sand in there, but there's a whole lot of selenite in there. That's a big chunk of selenite, so I'm going to take that one out. I'm trying to make an even layer. You want to use your popsicle stick to kind of even out the at the corners. Just even it all out throughout the whole thing, so that it can be like a straight, as even as possible. Like that. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of sand in there. Sprinkle some sand along the corners, on the edges, just to give it a little touch of white, so that that layer is going to give off an appearance of like kind of striated selenite appearance, as well as like a sandy like appearance to it. But then I'll take my popsicle stick again and just like mush it all the corners in and make sure everything's kind of tucked in nicely there, kind of like straight edges too. And then you're pretty much done that layer. But then you can go right into the second layer now after this, because it's like, it's already solid. Like, it's already
filled with materials.
It's already filled with materials. So now you can go right into the next layer. My next layer is going to be this blue rock here. So I'm just going to make a layer of that. And so I'm just gonna
in clear resin.
yeah, I'm gonna pour it in there, all of it. I'm just gonna go. I'm playing around here, right? So I'm just gonna say, okay, it's probably gonna make another nice layer there of this like blue rock on top of the apophyllite. It's actually called quartzite, aqua quartzite. So.
You can get them at Michael's and Strings.
Oh shoot, something that I did forget was the hardener. But now it's not too late. If you forget the hardener, just go back into your mixture and drop some, and then mix it all around. It's like it's never too late to go back and make sure you get it all.
How much did you use?
You don't need much, but I just used like about 8 drops with what, because there wasn't much there. So now I just have to.
Since the layer before it's already solidified, it should work nicely.
Yeah, it
still.
should work nicely anyways, but that was my bad for forgetting the hardener there. Now, I'm going to not forget the hardener this time. I've mixed in some resin in with the blue rock. Maybe need some more resin. It's kind of important that you don't put the rock. It's best to put the rock in the cup and mix it all up so that you get an idea of like how much resin you have to work with what material you're working with, rather than pouring the resin in or pouring the material in the pyramid first, or pouring the resin first and then pouring the material. Just because I feel like it makes more sense than you know
the consistency.
The consistency, yeah, exactly. So with that, I'm gonna add about 10 drops. Or 11. Doesn't matter. You can go like a little bit extra. It doesn't matter because there's lots of it. So don't be shy with the hardener. And now I'm going to add this to the top, over top of the selenite.
With some catalysts, you have to stir for like 2 minutes straight, but this one, thankfully, is just very quick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this resin from Michael's is the best stuff. I'd say the best stuff that I've come across yet, anyways. In terms of curing, like cures overnight, and it cures and it solidifies. And these castings, like the pyramids just pop out like no problem. So, and there we go. We have our layer of blue aqua quartzite. Now, on top of that is going to be the aluminum.
Just make everything level.
Yeah, tuck everything in.
Because what you're really going to see is the outside edge.
Yeah. Now I think I'm gonna let that dry now. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna let it dry so that it levels out, and then I'll come back and do the aluminum. So, okay. Now the next layer we're gonna do is just gonna be a really thin layer of gold flakes. It's going to be mostly clear with the exception of being able to see some of the gold in there.
Did you dye it blue?
Dye what blue?
The resin you're using?
No, this is just an old cup.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just a regular cup. I'm gonna use this cup. And again, like the plastic cups, definitely not styrofoam. I'd say styrofoam, the resin would eat away the styrofoam. Plastic cups around the inside, as well as popsicle sticks for stirring utensils. So I'm gonna say about that much there. That's probably about perfect right there. For like a pretty thin layer. That's going to make a pretty thin layer of gold flakes. So I got whatever gold flakes I got left, I'm just going to throw them all in there. Just to make sure I got them all together.
I love gold!
I love gold!
So professional.
So professional. Alright. Now this is going to look really good because you're going to have a layer of apophyllite, which is going to be like white, and say, Maya, shh, Maya, my dog. And then you're going to have a layer of blue quartzite, and then you're going to have a layer of gold.
Did you put the hardener?
Oh, no, I didn't. I'm trying to focus on like the talking and stuff usually whatever. Music is a great thing to have, but then you can just really concentrate on what you're doing. Yeah, probably with this, I'm probably going to add about 10 drops. So, yeah, that's good. You usually judge about like, if it was like half a cup, which I mean, when we do
Probably,
the metals and stuff, you're going to want to put like 20-25 drops. So it's all judging. If it's only a little tiny bit, the little thing, 5 drops at the most. Like if it's half of that, I'd say 5 drops. So 5, 10, you just eyeball it, and don't be afraid to add a few extra here or there. But once you make your first one, and then you see that the amount of hardener doesn't matter, it'll still come out. Then you don't have to. So there's the layer of gold. You pour it over. And then I'm just going to leave this sit and set, just like I did with the quartzite. And then we can get on to layering the metals. There we go. Alright, we're going to do a layer of aluminum now. Now if you want to zoom in on the pyramid, I'm going to go in closer even. If you look at how it is, I'm going to do it probably halfway, just about halfway aluminum. The rest is going to be this blue steel over here, but I mean we're going to do the aluminum first, and I'm going to have a thin layer of white sand in between those two. So, anyways, alright, so I'm going to take my cup. I'll use the one that had the gold flakes in it, like whatever, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes you'll want to take a new cup altogether, because it's just, some of them are just too dirty with other metals or whatever to work with, so I just decide, okay, oops, maybe I went a little bit too much there.
No, that's good. It's a big layer. I think. Well, whatever you think.
I'll put a little bit less. Yeah, it's a big layer, but you have to consider that you have a lot of resin there, and that will equal to almost double the amount in terms of the amount of of shavings. It's like even like 2/3, like more, or 1.5 times the amount of resin. Because watch, I'll show you the texture of the once you mix the resin hardener with this. I'd put about 30 drops. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, Actually,
25.
25 is good. You don't need to go too much overboard. But then mix it up. Now, show you what I'm going to do. Make sure your fingers are clean of any resin, so that your fingers don't stick all to the metal and stuff. That's kind of hard to do because it's pretty dirty work here. But so I'm going to take a bunch of aluminum and I'm going to put it into the cup, and I'm just going to push it down in there. And I see that that's still like I could use some more aluminum, so I add more. You'll probably see that you could even top off like the top with more aluminum, like as you go, like because that's probably the right texture that you want right there, like right there. Like you don't want it to be too too much resin and too grimy, but you don't want it to be too thick that like
there's no resin on the aluminum.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want everything to be coated.
Yeah, and you want it to be thick enough so that like, or you want it to have enough resin so that like pieces of like aluminum aren't sticking out of the pyramid when it comes out of its molding. Mm-hmm. Or like do the best you can so that doesn't happen. Sometimes you really don't know, but all right. So here we're gonna pour it. Yeah, I can tell that this could use some more aluminum for sure, and I'm going to do that. I'm just going to compact what's there. See, I can work with what I got right there, and then just kind of tuck in some of it in the corners and such. Tap it down, mix it around in there, you know. Don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid to work with it, because the layer underneath now is all congealed. It's hardened up, so now I'm going to add more resin and more aluminum because I can tell that it needs a little bit more. So add probably about this much resin.
I can see it.
Yeah, that much resin and about 12 drops or so, or 10 drops. Again, this should give you an idea, like 10 drops for that amount in this kind of cup, give you an idea for how much hardener you can add, so you don't have to worry about it not hardening or whatever. Because that's usually the worst nightmare, is that you go through the whole thing and then, you know, we've had pieces that have turned out rubbery or whatnot, and that just sucks. And that happens if you don't apply enough hardener or whatnot. And then I'll just add a big chunk of aluminum again. I really like the aluminum in this piece. I feel like it'll be good. Now, just to go to the metaphysical properties again, aluminum is supposed to be an invisibility shield against darkness, or it's proclaimed to be the invisibility metal. So now I got all that mixed up. I'm going to add that to the mixture that's already there. Now if you want to look in there, you can watch me as I tamper things down, get an idea as to how it works. So again, I'm just moving things towards the corners. I'm shifting the resin, like where I see some porous resin around, I'm shifting it and putting more metal in there, just to like make it more dense. You want it like really dense, you know. You want it to be as dense as possible in the corners and all around the edges, especially.
Because that's what's going to show up, really.
Yeah, that's what you're going to see on the outside. And also, you know, the more metal, the merrier, really. So,
do we need to add any more?
yeah, I'm going to add, like with my fingers now, I'm just going to add some to the edges. Now if you want to, I don't know if you can zoom up closer and look. Yeah, like I'll just put some along there.
Because there's always a layer of resin that kind of forms at the end as everything sinks. So you want to pack as much aluminum as you can. Or metals, whatever you're using.
Yeah. These are really, like, once you start making them, they're really fun to make.
Really easy too.
Really easy.
Just don't forget the hardener.
And I mean, at $15 top. Sometimes, like I think I got this one for $11 on Amazon for like a pyramid mold. Can't really beat that, and they pop right out like no problem. Some other different types of resin you might have a harder time, but with this Michaels resin, it's great.
Yeah, we found that the clear resin is better. All the materials show up a lot more clear than the clouded resin.
Yeah, the clouded resin is like stuff like Bondo, stuff that you can get at Canadian Tire. There's Bondo or there's Rust Check, or those ones are like a lot more dirtier, and like they have like a almost brownish appearance. They still make nice pyramids. They can still make for nice pieces and whatever. Like we made some. Like my first pyramid ever was made with like that dirtier resin, but you know, and it's just that the clear resin you can really work with different
yeah, if you're
colors
working with
and
different
stuff.
stones, like colored stones, the colors will show up a lot more brighter.
Yeah, be very aesthetically pleasing, and also, you know, like you can just put more love into it because you know that aesthetically. I mean, it depends on your reason for buying it. If you want it to be just a functional work, that's like, if you're a functional orgonite, then you don't have to be fussy. You can get cheap resin or whatever and go that way. Or if you want it to be also functional and artistically pleasing,
and aesthetically, yeah.
Then the mildly cheaper. I mean, like $20 compared to $30 for this clear resin. It's really not much more for a little bit of a nicer effect, or just overall better.
But definitely make sure you keep a window open, or you use like a paper mask or something, because this stuff is really powerfully smelling.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just tampering it down, like I'm making sure that the aluminum shavings are, you know, as tampered as they possibly can be, so that I can make some space for the next layer, which is going to be a thin layer of white sand.
There.
And there we go. Okay, alright. Now I'm going to make a thin layer of white sand to go over top of the aluminum. And,
see, it's congealed right now.
yeah, like if you push on it with the popsicle stick at any place, you can't go, your popsicle stick won't go through at all. So that's like perfect, that's idealistic. That's ideal. That means it won't go, you'll be able to see the layers separately once it comes out the mold. Oh. Or what I think I need. Drops. And then I'm going to add, I don't like usually grabbing the salt by the pinch. It's better if you had like a spout or something like where you can dump it into without making a mess. Usually if I had like a type of funnel type thing, but I don't have anything, but I'll just kind of like shimmer it in there. And then once I have some in there, I'll mix it up. And then I see, like, I kind of assess, okay, like it's still pretty viscous, which means like there's still more sand to be put in there. Oh, see there, sorry. It's definitely not like the most, it's definitely a pretty messy ordeal, this stuff. And add some more. Do some. And even like a lot of times at the top, we'll see when we pour it. We'll see what it looks like. But at the top, like if it usually use some, because all the resin ends up floating at the top, and then that's where you can just top it off with more. So let's see what this is gonna look like. I think it looks pretty good. You just gotta spread it right from the middle, from where I dumped it, into the corners, so that it's equal all along all the edges, along all sides, and in the center too. Then I'll take whatever's left out inside there too, and just put that in there. And I'll just play around with it, move some around. I noticed that there's maybe some spots where I could use a little bit of more sand. Notably some of the corners there. So I'll take like my fingertips and I'll just take a little bit of sand. I'll put it right in there. Same thing with other areas. Go. Sorry for like my voice is kind of like monotone because I got a head cold. Resin is definitely not helping, like, but I just really wanted to make this video. So now, if you notice some places a little bit unlevel, then like try to re-level your pyramid. Make sure that like you can even lift it out of its thing, and then like. Just make sure that you got an even leveled surface all around. Because some places are a little bit higher than others, so you can just use your popsicle stick to spread some more into other areas where there's less. Yeah, again, there's no secret to making this stuff. It's quite simple. And anyways, that's it. I'm going to let this cure for like a little bit longer. And then I'm going to add the last layer, not the black steel, the blue steel. Alright. Okay, now we're going to do the last layer of stainless blue steel or steel and the copper on top of that. But the properties for stainless steel, to remind you, it's highly projected and associated with the planet Mars, so named for the Roman god of war. As such, it should come as no surprise that wearing stainless steel or steel can be a little bit like wearing spiritual armor. If you're looking to protect yourself from psychic attacks, extreme negativity, or anything that would suck the energy right out of you, stainless steel is a good option. So steel is an overall great protector. I'm sorry, I'm just really groggy, but I'm going to finish this video, and tomorrow, once it cures, you guys will be able to see the finished product. So probably quite a bit, maybe a little bit more there.
There's Maya. Maya. Meet Maya, our lovely lab slash shepherd.
Girl.
Maya.
Alright, now I put the hardener in there, mix it all up. And again, like, sometimes I notice that I put it underneath my nose, it's not a good idea. Like, keep it away. Because it's quite intense. It's best, you know, like, the spring and summer would be the best time to do this kind of stuff, or in a garage that's ventilated. Wearing a gas mask, I'm not sure how that would work out, but it's worth a try, probably. So anyways, I'm going to add some steel to this now. Here.
Mm-hmm.
That. There's like a mixture. It's not just steel, because there's a mixture of brass in there and little pieces of aluminum. So you're gonna get benefits from everything, but it's mostly steel. So mix it up so it has a good, nice consistency. See, that might be a little bit too viscous. Like it's still too much, so I add more. Don't worry if you make a mess, because you can just always just sweep it up. Just watch out for the floor, scratching the floor here on the floor. Like, I haven't been paying much attention. I'm kind of a little bit disruptive in this room sometimes.
Mix it up in a pot, making it spicy.
Alright, there.
Anchorman.
Anchorman. Alright, so you see there. Now, I'm going to add a little bit more. I feel like it needs just a little bit more. You don't want it too much. You just want it. You want to play around with it. Once you play around with it enough, you'll get a better idea. See, like, I might need more. Maybe not. No, I might need more steel. Because as I spread it, I noticed that it's not going right to the very top. So I'm gonna add more resin. Let's see, 5, 6 drops of iron. 4, 5, 6. And then mix it all good. It's actually kind of fun, you know. Once it's done, you're just like, you pop it out, you're just like, yeah, awesome. It's you know, I've never really worked with resin at all until just recently, and it's like, it's fun, but it's messy and it's sticky. But it's so worth it. I'm very artistic in other areas, but I find that this one is an interesting art. It's there's a lot of room for playing around with different things, different ideas. So here I'm just going to spread it out.
That's the last layer, but then we just put the copper Triskelion and the hoop on top.
Yeah, I guess it's called the tensor field ring, because it generates a tensor field, but that's something beyond the scope of what I can actually, like if you know of the tube torus, have you ever heard of the tube torus around the heart? Or have you ever heard of the tube, like torus, like a donut shaped, like, you know, you cut an apple, there's all kinds of things that in nature even that have the torus shape in it, right? And even a lot of crop circles have the torus shape. So energetically, it's a very interesting. It can have very interesting effects that I don't really know exactly how to explain, but it more or less creates a toroidal field around everything or whatever it is. So as being underneath it, it'll create that field. As will the Triskelion create like a vortices field that will alter the composition of this, and usually, like, for the better. It will. Yeah, it's all really, really cool stuff. I mean, it's stuff like those triskelions that are found all over the pyramids of Giza, and in Egypt or whatever. So I mean, they knew something about it, about its effect, and especially copper being a great conductor. I think it's pretty great. I'm just really drawn to copper. I love it. I think it's one of the most amazing metals. I probably said that before, but it's so malleable compared to many of the other metals that you could work with. And as someone who's just aspiring with this kind of stuff, it's like, it's great. Like aspiring artists, I guess, they're just starting out, Yeah. Now, again, with this Orgone too, there's infinite possibilities. You could add like sacred geometry pendants inside there. You could add just about anything, any kind of rock, stone, I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's up to you what you want in there. Now, I'm thinking this is about done. Just going to check it again. I want to check around the edges and make sure that it's fairly level. It's not going to be perfect there, but it's going to be pretty level. You want to leave it somewhat viscous at the top so that when you place the triscale, the tri-spiral, and the tube torus ring, that they have some resin to be able to stick to, or else it just won't stick, and it won't hold in there. So now I'm going to put the tube torus, or the tetrafield ring, in there, and just place it right in the middle. Maybe push down. I'm going to push down a little bit so that just so that it might stick there and hold there a little bit. Kind of halfway in there. Again, like, it's great to work along with this with like crystal bowls and different sound healing instruments. It's extremely beneficial vibrationally to the creation of it, and to also your own vibration. As if you're very sensitive to smells and resin and stuff, it can be of great benefit to you. And now I'm going to put just on there. And just press it down pretty firmly. Firm enough that you can see the resin kind of squish in around it. And that should be good. Like that, you don't really need to do much more than that. Just leave it overnight and it will cure. So there we go. Thank you for watching.